and welcome to Narayana IAS Academy's weekly current affairs revision. Today we'll explore 5 most significant topics from The Hindu and Indian Express. We'll discuss each topic in detail so that you remain well informed and well prepared. So let's get started. So the next article is about PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Recently, Supreme Court made 2 different observations in the bail petitions of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. And here a new debate has started with respect to the role of political parties in the PMLA Act. Now for that we need to study PMLA section 70 and the principle of separation of power. It becomes important from syllabus perspective as GS paper 2 specifically mentions about separation of powers between various organs. Now before moving on to the article, look at this previous year question. It says, do you think that Constitution of India does not accept principle of strict separation of powers? Rather, it is based on the principle of checks and balance. Explain. So you can expect such descriptive questions in the examination. Now, moving ahead with the context. So we said that recently Supreme Court had made some observations. So there were 2 different observations made. One in the case of Arvind Kejriwal, another in the case of Manish Sisodia. And this judgment has led us to debate some legal issues. And the issue is about role of political parties. The question is, can we bring political parties under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and file a criminal case against them? Now here, the first issue involves PMLA. So we'll look at this act first. It talks about money laundering. This act was brought in to curb money laundering. But what is money laundering? Money laundering is the process of converting black money into white. But first of all, what is black money? So in case I start earning money from legitimate sources, but I do not pay the tax on that money, in that case, that will be considered black money. Also, in case I am earning money from some illicit activities, from some illegal activities which government does not allow. For example, I am selling drugs and earning the money. That money is also termed as black money in this category. So any such money, if you try to convert it into white, that is the phenomena of money laundering. And to stop that, government brought Prevention of Money Laundering Act in the year 2002. Now here we need to understand that there is section 70 in the PMLA Act. It says that company means any body corporate and includes a firm or other association of individuals, and only against these companies this PMLA provision will be applicable. So if you are filing any case under this particular act, then it can be filed only against a company, and this includes any other association of individuals. Now what happened is that here this association of individual, does this mean a political party also? Because political party is also an association. So this is a legal question. Now these investigative agencies like ED, when they filed the case, they said that to get the real definition, we went to this Representation of People's Act 1951. And this act defines a political party. And we got the definition from here, and that's why we are filing a case against political party. But here, if you look at this section 29A of Representation of People's Act 1951, what it exactly says? It says political party is any association or body of individual citizen of India calling itself a political party. That means not all associations can be considered as political party, only those in which the members themselves call it a political party. If they are not calling it political party, then it is not a political party. So here we are saying this is a legal issue and this needs to be taken up by Supreme Court. Now second issue is about drawing a line between policy and criminality. Now let's say, for example, the cabinet is taking one decision. They have taken one decision, and now because you feel that this decision is wrong, you brought the one minister who is responsible for that decision. You are saying we are filing a criminal case against this one minister. Now this is brought into question whether constitutionally it is correct to file a criminal case against one minister when the decision was not taken by only one minister, rather it is the collective responsibility or collective decision making by the cabinet. So here we are saying whether it is correct or not. Second thing, in India we have parliamentary democracy. When we say parliamentary democracy, it means that if the government is taking any action, they are taking any decision, and if that decision is wrong, let's say this policy decision is completely wrong or bad policy, in that case it is not the job of judiciary to give them punishment. It is rather the job of parliament, that is the legislature. They will check if the policy is right or wrong. If the policy is bad, then they will punish the government. How they will punish? They will bring no confidence motion, or they will go for election again. So there are mechanisms available with the legislature. So how correct it is to file a criminal case against minister in the Supreme Court or any other court? Because we are saying that if there is government, then the government is having three different organs. One is legislative, one is executive, and one is judiciary. And everyone will have separate powers, and there should be separation of power. If legislature starts doing the work of executive and executive starts doing the work of judiciary, this will lead to a big conflict. This will lead to concentration of power in the hands of few. And this is not good for any democracy, especially the parliamentary democracy. So we need to ensure separation of power, and there the role of judiciary becomes important. Now, moving ahead, whenever we are taking any policy decision, usually Supreme Court or any judicial body does not interfere, because policy making is completely the task of executive. And here we are saying that you should not go for such criminal case against any minister when it comes to policy making. Okay. Now, as a way forward, what can we say? First of all, judiciary should go for some clarification on this, because this is a legal matter. So legal clarification is required. Second, judiciary should ensure the integrity of cabinet, because as judiciary is important, the cabinet is also important. Both are important, and their separation of power is also important. And that's why we need to maintain this particular principle.
Is disinformation, artificial intelligence, and cyber chakravyuh. Okay, so as the article or the title of the article suggests, we'll be discussing about what will be the impact of AI-enabled disinformation, the cyber attacks, etc. What will be the potential impact of these instances on global events such as the Olympics, the national security, etc. And what have been the increasing, or what is the status of increasing menace of digital security issues in 2024. So in this particular article, we'll be discussing about the digital security threats, as well as it is a part of internal security, and we can map this entire topic to GS paper 3 for the mains examination under challenges to internal security through the communication networks, basics of cyber security, etc. Now moving forward, there has been a previous year question in the year 2021 in the mains examination with respect to that of India's internal security and analyzing the impact of cross-border cyber attacks. Okay. Now, we will understand what this particular article actually talks about, these kind of cyber security issues in India. Now, the evolving landscape of the digital threats in 2024, this actually presents a number of complex challenges to India and also for the global security, for the governance as well as the privacy of an individual. And this actually demands a comprehensive response strategy. Okay. Now moving forward, let us understand the AI as well as disinformation, a new frontier, how this particular artificial intelligence and the disinformation that has actually been generated and spread via AI happens to be, a threat to the global security. This is what we will see. First one, let us understand with respect to that of AI-enabled disinformation. So, there has been a rise of the artificial intelligence-driven disinformation, where artificial intelligence has actually made it easier in order to create as well as disseminate a lot of disinformation that also appears to be true in nature, that is credible, complicating the efforts to distinguish what is the truth and what is falsehood. And this is actually very much evident from the recent or the 2024 Taiwan elections, where the AI generated fake news and videos actually led to the widespread confusion as well as mistrust among the public. Now moving forward, if you actually look at this concept of deepfakes and their impact, deepfakes actually involve digitally manipulated videos, audios, or the images. This has actually become a significant tool for spreading the false information. And this is all enabled by the sophistication that artificial intelligence has actually gained over time. So, the sophistication of these AI-generated media actually makes it very, very difficult to detect the authenticity, whether it is actually true or whether it is a falsehood, leading to potential harm before the truth is actually uncovered. And also, what are the challenges that we actually face in countering this particular AI-enabled disinformation is that it actually is characterized by a rapid spread, okay? So, the rapid spread of disinformation poses challenges for national security as it can actually influence the public opinion. It can even destabilize the government in most of the cases and also alters the course of conflicts. And the use of AI in creating and spreading the disinformation also adds to the further layer of complexity to traditional methods of countering misinformation. Okay. Now moving on, let us look at the cybersecurity challenges. So there has been increasing frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks. So not only is the disinformation or the deepfake sophisticated, the cyber attacks and the nature of crimes that are actually taking place through cyber means are also increasing. So the year 2024 has seen a surge in the cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure. So what do you mean by critical infrastructure? This is nothing but it is a collection of systems, or these are networks, and also these are public works that the governments actually consider essential for the functioning and the safety of its citizens. Okay, so these are the critical infrastructure. It can be the telecommunication networks, etc. Okay. And also, as I told you, in 2024, there has been a surge in the cyber attacks, and this is specifically targeted these kind of critical infrastructure, the businesses as well as the individuals. For example, you can see the incident involving a massive outage caused by the Microsoft Windows recently, where it actually hampered the travels everywhere, specifically the aviation sector. And this serves as a stark reminder of the potential disruptions the cyber attacks can actually cause even without malicious intent. Okay. The next one is historical precedents of cyber crimes or cyber threats. That is, so past cyber attack incidences such as the WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017, which actually infected over 230,000 computers in around 150 countries. Very, very important. And also, if you see the Stuxnet attack in 2010, this actually targeted Iran's nuclear program. So this highlights the devastating impact of cyber threats on the global scale. Now moving forward, let us understand what is the growing cyber fraud and identity theft. Okay, so cyber fraud and identity theft have also become very, very widespread, with individuals and businesses increasingly falling victim to terms such as phishing, the spamming, as well as other forms of digital frauds. All these are very, very important because these can be asked as one-liners in your prelims examination as well. And these cyber crimes pose a persistent threat to the personal as well as the financial security. Now moving forward, let us look into the national security implications of these kind of digital threats. First one, AI and cyber threats as tools of modern warfare. See, if you see the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, this demonstrates how AI-enabled disinformation and these kind of cyber attacks can be weaponized in order to disrupt the critical infrastructure and also to spread false narratives. And these digital threats are now integral to modern warfare, posing significant challenges to the national security. The next one, it impacts the critical infrastructure, of course, such as the telecommunications, the power grids, and other essential services that have far-reaching consequences. And this not only affects the national security, but also the economic stability as well as the safety of the public. Now moving forward, there will be erosion definitely of the public trust. Okay, so the spread of disinformation and the increasing nature of the cyber attacks can undermine the public trust in the institutions. People can actually lose faith in their respective governments and can even democratic processes. And this erosion of trust is a crucial and critical national security concern, as it can lead to social unrest as well as destabilization of the government. Now moving forward, what can be the way forward to all this? First one, there has to be advanced cybersecurity technologies. This is actually This means that it is essential to invest in cutting-edge cybersecurity technologies, including AI-driven threat detection systems, robust encryption methods, as well as advanced firewalls, so that you actually detect and you actually weed away these kind of crimes in the beginning itself before it is actually spread. Okay. Next thing is global cooperation. That is, given the borderless nature of the digital threats, global cooperation is necessary in order to combat the cybercrime and the disinformation effectively. Next one, there has to be digital literacy as well as public awareness. Here, educating the public about the risks associated with the digital threats and how to protect themselves from these cybercrimes is actually very, very crucial. Initiatives aimed at improving the digital literacy can empower the individuals in order to recognize these kind of threats as well as to respond to cyber threats and disinformation. Next one, responsible development of artificial intelligence should be there. That is, ethical means should actually be followed. Here, governments and the organizations must actually come together and they must work in order to create frameworks that promote the responsible use of artificial intelligence while minimizing its potential for harm. And finally, the public-private partnership should be there. By working together, the PPP, they can actually develop comprehensive strategies and formulations for cyber defense, enhance the information sharing as well as coordinate responses to cyber incidents.
Delhi Center tussle. So many UPSC question has been framed on this particular issue related to Delhi Center tussle. And if you want to understand why this tussle is happening, for that we need to understand a brief history about Delhi. We have to go not long back, but let's say from 1950 onwards. What is this Part C state? What is Part B state? Part A state? We have to understand these terms. And once we are done with this particular article, you will understand why Delhi and Center are fighting, and different Supreme Court judgments are also contributing to it in some direct or indirect ways. Fine. So let's understand this issue. And in 2018, they have asked this question. Supreme Court judgment of 2018 can settle the political tussle between Lieutenant Governor and elected government of Delhi examined. And before that also, means question has been asked on this Delhi Center tussle. So what is the context here? And here, we will not only talk about the brief history of Delhi, we'll talk about different Supreme Court judgments related to Delhi versus, or Delhi government versus Center. And here, Center is being represented by Lieutenant Governor. So, Supreme Court recently ruled that Lieutenant Governor can nominate 10 aldermen. Again, pay attention to the keywords here. So, you have three tier of governance, right? Central level of governance, then state level of governance, and local bodies. So, elected members of MCD, some members of the city council, they are called as aldermen. So, they can nominate 10 aldermen to MCD. That means, let's say there are different city councils, and then there is MCD, Municipal Corporation of Delhi, which is a superset. So 10 aldermen, 10 city council members can be nominated to MCD without needing the aid or advice of Delhi government's Council of Ministers. So even if you don't know anything at all, you can understand here, if Lieutenant Governor of Delhi can nominate 10 aldermen, city council members to MCD without needing the advice or aid of Delhi government Council of Ministers, that means in a way, you are undermining the authority of the Delhi government, right? So again, the tussle is going on and tension is increasing between union government, Delhi government and local government. Again, for understanding this issue in a better manner, we have to understand the evolution of Delhi government. 1950, Delhi was a Part C state. Now, this is a tricky part. What is Part C state? In 1950, so there were 4 classifications: Part A state, Part B state, Part C, Part D. So Part A states, those provinces which were earlier part of British era or British India. So that were Part A state. Part B state, princely states, which were earlier princely states, that is Part B. Part C, some of them smaller chief commissioner provinces, smaller, which lies in the category of union territories, or smaller princely states, that will lie in Part C. And then in Part D, if I'm not wrong, only Andaman and Nicobar Island was there. So this was earlier classification. Part A, British Indian provinces. Part B, princely states. Part C, smaller princely states, chief commissioner provinces, which is akin to current day union territory. And then in Part D, you have Andaman and Nicobar. So if you're understanding this, 1950, Delhi was a Part C state. 1956, reorganization happened. Delhi was made a union territory. 1958, MCD was formed. 1966, limited amount of local governance, third tier of governance was introduced. And then, this is very important, 1991, they can even ask you, and they have asked this directly or indirectly in pre and mains, which amendment provided Delhi with a legislative assembly and council of ministers, excluding public order, police and land, which remain within the ambit of union government. So 69th Amendment, do remember this. Puducherry is another union territory which has a legislative assembly and council of ministers. So what is the ongoing issue? On what are the ongoing issues? So there is BJP-led union government, AAP-led Delhi government. If same government is functioning at both means Delhi level or Delhi, let's say, is ruled by BJP. Central is also let's say ruled by BJP. The same political party is ruling at both the levels. So the chances of friction are somewhat less. That is not happening here. And the two different political parties are at two different domains, right? So conflict is happening, legal conflict. Supreme Court judgments and subsequent amendments to the government of NCT of Delhi have curtailed the powers of Delhi elected government. Again, if I keep on reading this particular slide, you will not understand anything. For understanding what is the issue between Delhi and central government, Delhi government and central government, you have to understand these cases. Just follow these cases. So very beautifully, this Hindu has given all these cases. Like how many cases you have? 5 cases. Let's deal with them sequentially. 2016 case, Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India. Delhi High Court ruled that LG, Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, exercised complete control of all matters relating to NCT of Delhi. Again, this particular case is doing what? This is reducing the power of elected government of Delhi. Then let's track. 2018 will try to restore things. On appeal against the Delhi High Court judgment, Supreme Court held that LG was bound by ad and advice of Council of Ministers. Just like President is bound by ad and advice of Council of Ministers headed by Narendra Modi, sir. Similarly, LG was bound by ad and advice of Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister, except on matters related to public order, police and land, which lie within the ambit of central government. So in a way, whatever was done in 2016, somewhat the powers of elected government of Delhi were restored. Then come back to 2021 amendment. Required Council of Ministers to obtain the opinion of LG. Again, power is shifting. It's like a to and fro oscillation which is happening. So if Council of Ministers is doing certain things, they require opinion of LG before any executive action. Again, tilted the balance of power favor of LG, Lieutenant Governor, who is, many political experts believe, is a representative of center. He is more or less doing things which center asked him to. Then 2023 judgment. Constitution bench. What is a constitution bench? I keep on asking you this question because you should be knowing this. Constitution bench comprise of how many judges? Dash or more judges. What is that dash? If you know it, post it in the comment section. Also, whatever marks you're getting out of 5, please post it in the comment section. So Constitution bench held that Delhi Assembly and government shall have legislative and executive powers over services except in relation to public order, police and land. If you read this, you will again realize that this will restore the power of elected government. So to and fro oscillation is happening. And then 2023, Government of NCT. Again here, there is a new authority which has been created. National Capital Civil Service Authority for deciding matters. And here, it will comprise of CM, Chief Secretary and Home Secretary of Delhi. The latter two are more or less, attached with central government. Again, reducing the importance of elected government and chief minister. So to and fro oscillation. These cases you have to keep in mind. You can make a chart of it, remember it, and now you are understanding what are the issues which are going on and why this tussle is happening. So what is the way forward? You always have to write a way forward. Triple chain of accountability. This is a key word here. They can even ask you, what is triple chain of accountability? So there are officials, MCD officials, etc. They should be accountable to ministers. Ministers should be accountable to legislative assembly, and assembly should be accountable to people. This is triple chain of accountability. Governance model that is there in Washington, D.C. What is happening in Washington, D.C.? What is this Washington, D.C. model? Central government controls a smaller area. So same can happen here also. They control a smaller area. Rest falls under the Delhi Assembly control. But for that, you need a constitutional amendment. Honoring the 2023 judgment, ensuring responsible governance across all 3 layers of government, regardless of political power, in line with Supreme Court judgment. Again, you can go back and you can see all these judgments, what is happening. One judgment, if it tilts in favor of LG, the other judgment will come, which will try to restore the power of Council of Ministers. So these kind of judgments, they play a crucial role in deciding the power is shifting to which side. And a harmonious relationship is needed for what you can say, sabka saath, sabka vikas, or proper inclusive development of Delhi. So do remember this triple chain of accountability. This is important. Do remember the 5 judgments related to Supreme Court and High Court, which tilt the power one way or the other.
Students, the title of the next topic is India will offer end-to-end chip solutions to the world. Right? Now, in this article, you'll understand about the semiconductor chips and Industry 4.0. This is important from the prelims as well as the mains perspective, GS paper 2 and GS paper 3. Previous year question asked in the year 2020, the emergence of fourth industrial revolution has initiated e-governance as an integral part of government. Discuss. What is the context? The context is that on the eve of Independence Day, the Prime Minister of India announced that India will offer end-to-end semiconductor solution to the world. Through this, India will be a global leader or global player in the semiconductor industry or the cutting edge technologies. And this we can do by leveraging our youth who are skilled. For that, the government of India has launched 76,000 crore semiconductor chip incentive scheme in 2021. Now, through this, subsidies are offered to plants or the semiconductor plants. Prime Minister expressed that through this, our country will herald and be a part of Industry 4.0. First, we'll understand what is semiconductor chip and then we'll understand what is Industry 4.0. First is semiconductor chip. It is simply referred to as chip. It is nothing but it is a small piece of semiconductor material. For example, the most common semiconductor material is silicon that contains an integrated circuit IC. Now the chips, these semiconductor chips are essential in most of the electronic devices like computers, smartphones and other gadgets, which means semiconductor chips are basic ingredient. Now these semiconductor chips contain integrated circuit. This integrated circuit, there are a set of electronic circuits on a small flat piece. So this is the integrated circuit. Now these circuits, they perform variety of functions like processing, memory storage or controlling electronic devices. So every mobile that you use has this chip and integrated circuit. The most commonly used semiconductor is silicon. Now, such type of question can be asked in the UPSC examination. Why it is common? Because it is found in abundance, it is cost effective. Now, some chips are also made from other semiconductor materials, for example, gallium arsenide. Now, this semiconductor material is known for its high speed and high frequency applications. This is semiconductor chips. And what is Industry 4.0? This is the fourth industrial revolution, which means we had three industrial revolution. This is the fourth industrial revolution. Now, this fourth industrial revolution refers to the transformation of the traditional manufacturing and industrial practices to modern smart technology like the artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. Which means it is the advance to the modern smart technology. Now, this revolution builds on the advances of three previous industrial revolutions. For example, the first industrial revolution signified mechanization, water power, steam power, right? The second, mass production assembly line and electricity, that is manufacturing. The third, computer and automation, right? And the fourth one is the cyber physical system, modern smart technology. So these are the four industrial revolutions. So you should know what each industrial revolution, right? So it's also mentioned it over here. So this is mechanization, electricity and information technology, IT. This is third industrial revolution. And fourth is a fusion of physical, digital and biological worlds. I hope you understood the article.
The next article is about monkeypox, in short Mpox. Recently, World Health Organization has declared monkeypox as public health emergency of international concern. And Africa is struggling to get vaccines for this Mpox viral disease. So for us, it is very important to understand how this Mpox is caused. Is there any bacteria or virus or fungi behind this particular disease? And from syllabus perspective, in prelims, general science questions can focus on such diseases. If you look at this previous year question of 2013, it says which of the following diseases can be transmitted from one person to another through tattooing? Is it chikungunya, hepatitis B, HIV/AIDS. So to answer these questions, you should have factual understanding. Okay. So let's move on to the article. We said that Africa is struggling to get the vaccines. That means for the Mpox, the vaccines are already available, but they are not available in Africa. If you go to USA or European countries, you will see that the vaccines are available more in number. But if you go to Africa, the vaccines will be lesser in number. So this is the problem Africa is facing at this moment. Now what is this monkeypox? It's a viral zoonotic disease. First of all, it is a viral disease. It is caused by a virus and the name of that virus is monkeypox. See, such diseases can be caused by virus, bacteria, parasite, fungi, anything. Here we are specifically saying it's a virus. And it is a zoonotic disease. When we say a disease is a zoonotic disease, that means it first started from an animal and then it has got transmitted to a human being. So for example, this disease, this first started with a monkey. So this virus first attacked the monkey got infected, and because a human being got in touch with this monkey, he also got the same disease. And such diseases are called zoonotic diseases. Now it is not necessary that only viral diseases will be zoonotic. The disease could be caused by bacteria, parasite or fungi, anything. Now here, this particular disease was first identified in monkeys in the year 1958, and later on in the human beings it was recorded in the year 1970 in Democratic Republic of Congo. Now there are two variants or two different types of monkeypox. First is clade 1, which is having its origin in Central Africa, and there is clade 2, which is having its origin in the western part of Africa. So you can say this particular disease has its origin in the African region only. Now moving ahead, what are the symptoms from this Mpox? First, you will generate rashes on your skin, then there will be fever or any other symptoms which are very similar to flu. So you will have back pain, headache, muscle ache, you will feel that you have very low energy, etc. Now in case this particular Mpox is being infected to an animal, I am saying it will be transmitted to a human being, and this transmission takes place in different forms. One could be direct form, that you have come into contact with that animal in a direct way. So there could be skin to skin contact or contact with respiratory secretions of that animal. Also there could be indirect contact. So for example, you put a towel on an animal and then you use that towel. In that case also you may get this disease. Then once a human being is infected, he can infect another human being too. So there is a possibility of sexual transmission of this Mpox virus, and this is seen in the sex workers of Democratic Republic of Congo. Now if you look at the treatment of this Mpox disease, at this moment we do not have any specific treatment as such. Only vaccines are available, or you can go for early and supportive care.